die.
Okay, cool. All right, let's do this now.
In case you didn't know, one day you will die. And I want to show you why the job that you have that you hate is a waste of your life. See, this right here is our childhood and our teenage years, and we have a lot of fun. And most of us usually get a job right around here at 20 years old. And most people will retire at the age of 65. Now, if we're lucky, we'll live all the way to 80 years old. Now, if you look at this, the majority of our lives will actually be spent at work. But a recent Gallup poll found that 85% of people in America don't enjoy their jobs. And in China and Japan, that number is almost 94%. Now, that's a crazy statistic. Most people hate what they do, but spend most of their lives doing it. Do you want to spend the majority of your life doing something that you hate doing? And just so you know, if you're slaving away for retirement down here, you're missing the point because only 82% of people in the world will actually live to the age of 65. And if you get to 65, on average, you only have about 15 more years left to live after you retire. And also, so you know, only 65% of people actually live into the age of 80. So don't stay at a job where you dread Mondays and live for the weekends. If you don't like your job, quit it. Find another way to make money. It's okay to wake up tomorrow and completely reinvent yourself and become the person that you've always wanted to be. It's never too late to start. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's unrealistic because I have a family to feed. And what I want you to think of is this. If your children grow up just to be just like you and you work a job that you hate, guess what they will do when they get older? The same thing. Do you want that life for them? Wouldn't you rather have your children watch you live a fulfilled life doing what you love so that they can grow up and do the same? Even if it means that you make less money? Because no matter how you make your money, whether you're the CEO of a billion-dollar company or a janitor, we all end up as dust. And so it's with really great love and respect that I want to challenge you to rethink your life. If you're not happy with your job or your purpose or your meaning in life, change it. It's okay to make less money doing something that you love and not feel the need to buy a bigger house or a new car just because your neighbor did. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Don't fear being judged by people just because you don't have that great job title. Don't look back at the end of your life and see unfulfilled dreams or chances that you didn't take and days that were just wasted away at a job that you hated. Don't be so busy making a living that you forget to actually make a life because life is so short. Do something that you love and be proud of it. And when you're not working, spend that time with the people that you love. Because here's the deal. You weren't born to just pay the bills and die. You were born to thrive.
Wow, how about that, guys? And if I've sent that all around. I'll be on my Facebook page and probably some others as well. And you know what you should think about is if that touched you a little bit, you should watch it again, and you should watch it again, and then you should watch it again, because it's got so many things in there about making the most of your life, and it's so important. And a big part of that is about not only being able to learn from others in leadership, but it's being able to lead yourself. So I'm going to go right now into the area of leadership, and I wonder what that means to you when you hear that word. And maybe I'll give you a few surprises as we go through this, but there's all kinds of definitions about it, and I'm going to focus on, just maybe a little bit different from you, what you're used to hearing. So one of the things I want to say is that everyone is a leader because everyone influences someone. Have you ever thought about that? That it's not just certain people in certain places, but it's everybody everywhere. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Is it true or untrue, you reckon? I put down true or true. Look at these two, you may recognize them. I'll give you a hint. It was back in World War II days. Does that help you to understand? These were world leaders at the time. One was infamous, I guess you could say. The other one's famous. You know, the reason why these were leaders in the world at the time, regardless of whether they were good or bad, is because people followed them. And there's always people that are following others for good or for bad, you know, for richer or for poorer. And here's another two that you may recognize. This is the old way. You may think, wow, the old way. How can that be the old way? That's, if you didn't already know, that's Mark Zuckerberg. And he's the creator of Facebook, which began around about 2003, 2004. You think, how can he be the old way? Well, the old way was where no matter how amazing you were, you got all the profits. And the new way is for people like this one on the right-hand side, and his name is Jonas Erik Werner, and he shares the profits with the world. So the old way, the people get rich and you watch them getting up there, getting rich, and you go, I wish it could be me. But the new way is you get to share in the profits, and so that gives you a chance to get a leg up. Old leader, new leader. Maybe you didn't think about yourself as a leader, but if you have a family, then you're a leader in your family, aren't you? If you're a parent, then you're leading your kids. And if you're the oldest or someone else inside your family, perhaps you're leading in certain ways within your family. Maybe you're an adult, you're all adult children, but you know, you're a leader in presenting, whatever it is. You're a leader in finances. But most people recognize that, you know, yes, I am. If I'm a parent, I'm leading my kids somewhere, for better or for worse. Maybe you and I have been part of different groups. Some are more positive than others. Some don't take us down the most positive of roads, but everybody is a part of a group somewhere. And in those groups, they either influence us for positive, for negative, somewhere in between. So always look for your group and think about who you're surrounding yourself with. It's not that everybody acquaintances that can influence us. It's the people that we spend the most time with. And so it's really important that we seek those that are going to help us to move forward to our visions, our dreams and goals. Because if we don't, you can find that a year, a decade, even a life can go past and we're no better. We're not in such a good place. Can you mute that, guys? Just there's someone in the background with their sound on. Thank you. So yeah, so we're all either leading or being led somewhere. You recognize this? You recognize this moment? Because you may think to yourself, no, I'm not a leader. I've never been a winner. But yeah, this is the first race you ever won. It's the sperm race from the time that you conceived. And so you and I are made of that very first sperm that made it through into the egg and that created us. So we're actually, from the very beginning, we're born winners. And that's something really good. If you've never felt like that before, you go, yeah, shucks, I actually won that race. I may not have won a lot of others since then, but I've won that. So that means I'm set up for success from the beginning. And that's where I want to bring it, as I bring it to close, I say, you know, there are leaders everywhere, great. There are leaders around us, awesome. But we are leaders ourselves in our families and our groups, but also within ourselves. And if we realize that we're a leader from the very beginning, then we realize that, well, the door is there and the key is actually inside our hands. We're actually more powerful than we think. Because here's something that you may or may not have thought of, that yes, people will inspire us. Yes, they will help us along our way. But do you know what? You and I never change unless we give others permission. Think about that. You and I will never change, no matter what someone says so encouraging or amazing, jumping up and down, charismatic, whatever. We don't change unless we decide to change. So the key is always in our hands. See, we're a leader. And so it's really important that, you know, when life's a bit fuzzy, that we that we focus. We need a vision. And in the Bible, it talks about without a vision, the people perish. And you often hear us talking about your why, the why that makes you cry, because that's attached to your vision about where you want to go in life. It's attached to what you're passionate about, what you're committed to. And so we talk about that because that helps to bring your life into focus. And when things, obstacles, problems, difficulties come our way, having that vision ahead of us and about what's important to us can help us to keep on track. When the motivation wanes, that the discipline kicks in and we keep on moving. So, this is not about just me. This is about the bigger picture in life for me and my loved ones and where we're going. Everybody in life has potential. And if you read this quote by Les Brown, I've shared it before, it's so amazing because it talks about how people can go through their whole lives and not make the most of it. And so where's the richest place on earth? It actually is the graveyard. That's where most people end up, not doing half of what they hoped that they would. And a lot of that's because of comfort zone. A lot of it's because they thought they were immortal. How many of us, think about it ourselves, go through life and go, you know what? I never thought about that. Yeah, for some reason, I live day to day like I'm going to live forever. And yet life can be so fragile, and we only need to look around to see people around our age, a bit older or maybe a bit younger, and just seeing what's happened to a few of them to realize, life is not as eternal here on earth as we think. And that's a really good reason why I played that video at the beginning, to say, you know what, maybe you've been working for a long time and you need to rethink. I rethought it when I went through the crisis of my life, and I went, wow, I've got to rethink life and come up with something new. And I did, plugged into different things and to what we're doing right now. So yeah, we have lots of potential, but it's what we do with it that makes the difference. And one of the most important things is sowing seeds for our future. And sometimes people wish that it was like a microwave, that would stick something in the ground and that, hey, the result would happen yesterday. But it's not how life works. It's like you've got to sow seeds inside for your future, whatever it may be. It could be in the finance area, the relationship area, friendship, business, anything. But you've got to actually plant, and then with the right conditions over time, then they will sprout. And that's the same with anything in life. And so I know we're a computer, online, microwave generation, and so people want things now. But sometimes I read this saying by the fastest runner on earth. I'm not sure if he still is at the moment, but I've got his face in my head. Can't recall him, but 100 meter and 200 meters, amazing sprinter. And he says, that's it, Usain Bolt. And you know what? I saw this saying just recently, and it went like this. He said, I spent 4 years to get to the Olympics to run 9 seconds. Now think about that. I spent 4 years hard out working myself to run a race in 9 seconds, once every 4 years. And then I don't know if it was him that said it, but someone else may have just used that saying with the next part, which was, and some people can't even work 2 months at something before they give up. Wow, 4 years for 9 seconds, and some people can't even work a few months before they give up and say, it's not for me. We reap what we sow. So change is hard, and that's where leadership comes in for us as individuals. To change any habit takes a lot of effort. You ask the person who's spent their life on the couch, going to the gym, excited the first day, what happens at the end of the month, what happens 2 months down the track. It takes a very determined person. That's why I talk about motivation starts you off, but it's your discipline, it's your stamina, it's your focus, it's your vision for your life, how healthy you want to be in this area that's going to take you forward. It's messy, but when you get to the end of whatever goal you have, it's so rewarding. There's a Bible verse and it says this, that he is slow to anger is better than the mighty, but I'll focus on the second one, part of it, and it says, he that ruleth the spirit than he that taketh a city. So it's mightier as a person that rules their own spirit than they taketh a city. And if you think about that, wow, you think, wow, that's amazing, because it's talking about you, yourself, me, myself. It's like, if we can rule ourselves, that's so much more mightier than taking a city. Because you know what, there's great direction, great people come out of are people that are able to rule themselves, able to have self-control, able to be motivated, have that vision, and when in the face of anything. So it's a good one to remember. And the other one is that you can only lead someone as far as you've gone yourself. Some people will try, but really, as Peter Jacobson will say, you've got to have that knowledge, empirical knowledge, which is that experience inside life in certain areas. See, I can talk to people in crisis and help them from that place to move forward in their life, because I know what was the hardest time of my life, to lose everything. And so it's something that no one can take away from me, and it's something that I can speak from my heart and emotionally at times when I recall it. So you always got to remember that if you want the greater leader that you want to become, then the further you need to go, the further you need to grow yourself. So here we are in 2021, and January, how many of us made a New Year's resolution for our business, for our personal lives? And 6 months in now, it's the 28th of June, with 2 more days to go before we kick into the second half. How are you going? When you look at what you said or thought about earlier in the year, that maybe at the very beginning, where are you right now? How are you progressing to where you want to be? What needs to be adjusted inside it? What needs to be reset so that you can actually get there, or as close as you can to that place? And that's it. So I hope that's given some food for thought. And right now we're going to open it back up to the floor. I'm going to hand it over to my co-hosts, and then I'm going to open it to thoughts that you have on today, either where you are or where you've been, and things that you can contribute.